I also didn't open my beverage, so I'm gonna pull a Xerath. So
You're gonna go run away for a second?
I'm gonna go. I have it. I just didn't open
Ah,
it.
okay. Got it.
Uh, you know. No.
All right, mute that.
Okay. I think. Did we decide if you were gonna do the intro?
Your call.
You can do it. You do it.
Okay.
I'll do the outro, and yeah, and all that fun stuff. I think. I mean, it says we're live. I see people talking.
I see our faces,
I see
so
our faces. Also good.
we ready?
No. Yes.
Oh, am I off mute now? I think
Oh.
I coughed and then didn't mute. Because it would suck to do this intro and then be like, oh, let's rewind it and do it again.
Uh, I can hear you, and I'm pretty sure the stream can hear you because OBS can hear you. So I think we're okay.
All
I
right,
forgot
all
to
right.
check that.
Yeah. All right. Good evening. This is HNN, the Holotable News Network. It's your not even remotely close to around the clock Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes news, reaction, review, and theory crafting and more source. I am Pico Burrito, your host, and today I am joined for the final time by the incomparable, the amazing CeliacSarah. Sarah, how are you?
I'm gonna cry already. Holy crap. I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, it's been a week.
It's been a
It's
week.
it's been a week. I as we were kicking off the show, I was gonna, or as we were kind of before the show, I commented like I dusted my office today,
I did not.
but it's possible there may be still some dust in the room. I don't know. We're gonna have to see how this goes
uh,
over a little bit. So yeah.
yeah. Um,
So
I
what's new?
I guess I just ripped the band-aid off. So I have decided to quit the game. I actually am no longer in ODB. I left the guild on Monday. Uh, I I probably should have. In my head, I had prefaced this by saying this was something that I had been thinking about for a very long time, probably since like June. Uh, yeah, June, because it was roughly around the time Jasper started walking.
Sure.
Which I mean makes sense because
Yeah.
now I don't get to sit. um, so part of like me dropping off Professor X was just needing to not be in the game so much, uh, and just with Jasper now being so active and awake and honestly just really cognitive of what
Yeah.
I'm doing. And I've also been working towards promotion at work, which I did finally get. So, yay.
Took way too long. Took way
uh,
too long.
it took way too long. I don't have the time. And I don't, I, I, Trav and I talked about this, and I've talked about it with like Darman and like all these other people, and just like, well, do you cut back in the game somewhere, or like do you go to a casual guild, and like all of that um kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm like half reading the chat as well. I have an addictive personality in the sense that it's full tilt or nothing.
Yeah.
And I can't go casual. I will not be content. I will go casual for like a week and then I will go full tilt again.
Yeah.
So I just have to cold turkey rip the band-aid off and do it. So I actually haven't finished my dailies or anything since Monday. I finished my shin shards because why not? But that's it.
I mean,
Uh,
what are you going to do with all your free time? That's
so this is the thing now. I was going over my like daily schedule because now I'm realizing how spoiled I was in my shift before I went on maternity leave because I worked 4 10-hour days.
yeah,
I worked evenings. So I was by myself for the majority of my shift. So I could do whatever I
yeah,
wanted. And now I'm working Monday to Friday, 10 to 6, which means I leave the house at 9 a.m. I'm home at 7 p.m.
yep.
And now that I have gotten this new role, I'm in anywhere between 2 to 4 meetings a day. Uh, and it is so hectic of like now just people coming up to me all the time and wanting information. I can't, like, I have no time to be in the game.
Also, it's puts you in a really difficult place when the boss is constantly dicking off to tell people that they actually need to do their jobs.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like, hey, why are you not working? I don't know. You're playing your stupid Star Wars game again. So that kind of causes a problem, doesn't it?
And like they all know I play it. Like they all, cause like they'll come and ask me questions and they'll just like stand and wait because they're like, oh, you're playing your game. Like they all
Yeah.
know. And I'm like, I can't. And it's just, and now it's like, it's way too, in the summer, it's one thing because summer is generally slower. But now that we're into fall, I'm like, it's too
Yeah.
crazy. There's too much going on at work. I can't. And then I basically get home and make dinner, play with Jasper. We go to bed. And
Yeah.
I'm now staying awake, literally falling asleep playing the game.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm like, I just can't do it.
So when you reached out to me last week, I was in the middle of arguably one of the worst sets of 3 to 4 days that I've had in
Well,
4 or 5 years. No, hang on. You saying you weren't playing anymore was actually, and what kind of what you sent to me was the best news that I had heard all week. And not that you weren't playing anymore, but when it's like, look, I want to spend time with Trav and Jasper, and I got this promotion, which again, we've had conversations about that for a period of time, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like I was so excited for you. And I've talked to people about this in the past that I love watching people. I'm trying to do this on camera so people can see it. Like I love watching people in their point in their life where they're kind of doing this and they're kind of on that incline, and then that tail kicks in and life takes off. And I think that you're at that tail kick in life take off point right now. And before the show, like no one, maybe a little bit later, but you know, Jasper was on camera, was there, and he's making animal noises, and he's shoving veggie
veggie
straws in his
sticks.
mouth, which are the most disgusting thing in the world. Like,
I
get your
don't.
kid off of those. They're just, I get it. You literally can't choke on them, but they're nasty. They're
He
like
loves them.
pork rinds with none of the benefit of pork rinds. Like that's what they really are at that point. But I'm just watching that, and I miss that. Like I miss that with my kids, and I have other things that I can do from that. But I am so excited for you. I am so happy for you. And I know this is hard, and I know stepping away from this because again, you have built something here, and we'll talk about. I got other thoughts on that later, but uh, man, this is like yes, I'm sad. Like I will miss this,
Yeah.
but I am excited for you. I am happy for you. And I of all the things that man, I have been wandering around mumbling about what I was going to say for this for way too long. We probably should have done this last week. It would have been a much shorter episode, but uh again, like I get it, and it is I am stoked for you. That is just awesome.
Thank you. I will say, like, the main reason why I like basically took my time in terms of deciding if I was going to do this is because I genuinely love recording. Sorry, apparently my hair is like just all over the place here. I love recording H&N with you. I love recording Crate with Sarah, like the community. I contemplated doing this a few weeks ago, and I literally had a mental back and forth, like multiple personality Sarah back and forth. And I was like, well, I can't do it before Conquest starts because I need to make sure everyone's set up for
Yeah.
Conquest. Like, I just felt so guilty. And I messaged you. I messaged you first. I messaged Sarah second. Don't tell him that. Um and then I messaged the officers. Sorry guys.
Yeah.
um and I was literally shaking. I felt so sick because I just felt so bad. Fuck.
Look, one, please don't feel bad. And I'm saying this in 100% sincerity. You have given more than most.
I'm
All
I'm
right.
I'm just gonna crack my cider now. I'm gonna start drinking because fuck it.
uh, it was funny because when this kind of happened and a couple of things and the the piece that came to me actually I think it was again it's this is happening to a friend of mine like that was like that piece of it and this won't you and I won't break like
No.
that's a different piece but honestly the next immediate reaction and I could be making an overstatement and I would love it if people tell me I'm wrong like this is one of the few times I need people to tell me that I'm wrong but my immediate reaction was wow, Star Wars content creator is nothing but a bunch of white dudes in their 40s. Like, I think it's really important to point out that you were a you were a different voice than a lot of the rest of us. And I think it's sad for the community that we're losing that and that we're losing someone again that doesn't look like chubby guys like me with way too much gray hair. But I think that's an important thing to note, and I hope someone steps in and kind of fills that mantle or kind of steps into that spotlight. And again, and if I'm wrong, people please go to our Discord and at me because I would love to know who those people are and listen from that perspective. But um, look, it's a great thing. Um,
Yeah.
I I think the question is probably what happens to this
Right.
and what when you said it to me and it was immediately like if you want to carry on the show I fully support that and my immediate reaction was you are H&N. I look I have had the immense joy of sitting opposite of you for what feels like probably a lot longer than I thought and I was trying to figure out how long it's been recently but um
I think it's
I am
been,
now the third co-host of this show.
yeah.
uh you have been the anchor point. uh, I don't as much as I love doing this, and again, I've got some more thoughts on this later that's going to get much worse. Um, I don't. It doesn't make sense for me to carry this on because I don't think that you're replaceable. I don't think you're substitutable. Like if it, I was trying to think the other day when you were on maternity leave. I think I figured out a way that we just didn't do an episode while you were gone. And
Mhm.
partially that was because I was afraid that I was going to find out that no one's going to listen if it was me and someone else. And I'm this way I don't actually have to test that theory or not. But this is just I think this is the natural, at least from my side, this is the
Mhm.
natural close.
Well, now I feel bad.
Don't you shouldn't
I know,
again.
but
If we've learned anything, the second that one content creator goes away, seven others sprout behind them. It's like this. It's like we're asparagus. All right.
don't knock asparagus. um uh yeah. So this is the final H. We are keeping the Discord server
Yes,
open.
Discord will stay open. Yep.
I'm staying on Discord. I don't know how responsive I will be, to be honest. I have to change my settings because I'm still getting tagged to do territory war battles. Um, which is, I'm like, I'm not even in the guild. Uh, um, so yeah, it it's funny because I got a ton of DMs and I got a ton of DMs in the guild in general before this of people being like, hey, just so you know, this is going on. I can't do this. Or, hey, I have a problem with this. Or like whatever the case was. And then I just kind of like funneled. And I was the territory battle officer, and then I went on maternity leave, and Bodhi stepped in, and he just kind of like kept it going. And I was like, well, I'm not really like needed. And I think I just kind of stayed in the officer corps because I was like a funnel
Yeah.
of voices to the officers. And I got this message that was like, well, who am I going to complain to when I need to complain about the guild? And I was like, honestly, it's probably still going to be me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
still going to be around. I'm just not in the game. And before we even, if anyone asks, I've had a couple of questions. I don't know yet what I'm doing with my account, if I'm going to let it die or if I'm going to hand it off to somebody. If I hand it off to somebody, please don't DM me to ask for it. I already know 2 people that I want to give it to, that I trust with it. But I kind of think I should just let it go.
So I would tell you not to give it away to the point you can't get it back, because you're probably 2.5 years away from sitting in your car between 2 hockey games going, what the hell am I going to do with the next hour of my life? And you're like,
I thought you were
oh,
going to
I
say
wonder what the latest Galactic Legend is.
I thought you were going to be like, you're 2.5 years away from maternity leave. And I was like, yeah, that checks out. And like, I'm not writing anything off. I might regret this in like a week or a month or 6 months and be like, screw it, I got to come back. And I don't know. But for right now, it doesn't make sense. And
Some of my
yeah.
favorite memories of being a dad was falling asleep on the floor playing with my kids, because I was just so tired, and I can't imagine like waking up and like, crap, now I got to go do this other thing.
Yeah.
I just it's for me, it worked out that the game came in at the right point in my life.
Yeah.
For you, it came in at the right point in your life. Life's just now changed underneath you.
Well, I'm like, I don't talk about this much, but I started playing this game 8 years ago. It was 2016. I was in a very bad place mentally and emotionally, and this game was a crutch. It was just a distraction, and I got hooked. And eventually, obviously, I got out of that place. But then like the game just stayed with me, and like I just carried on. And I'm not gonna say the game got me through it, but like it probably a little bit did, maybe. And now everything's just different.
But that's okay.
Yeah. So it has been an emotional week. It was the weirdest feeling to leave the guild, by the way. I was a little sad. Danimal was asleep. He couldn't kick me.
He wasn't asleep. We actually hacked his phone and it wasn't available. We were trying to delay that as long as we possibly could.
So yeah. I don't know what we want to do. Do we want to read a Shin kit? Do we want to?
Well, I think the plan was, and then of course Mole Pokey had to be Mole Pokey. He's like, I'm not sure I really trust Sarah's analysis on reading Shin's kit at this point. So
I mean, I haven't read it, so this is the final blind kit reveal you could get. There will be a final episode with Zareth. We're gonna record it tomorrow, so it'll be out on YouTube on Friday. And we're also going to stream it tomorrow, I believe, on his Twitch. I ran that idea by him, and he said it was a good idea. He didn't actually say yes, but
That's a good idea, and I don't like your good ideas, so we're not gonna do
Yeah,
that.
he,
So
he might just ignore me to prolong the final crate. I don't know. But there will be a final crate. I believe we're gonna roast my roster.
oh, I mean it's a roastable roster, let's be fair.
And I
So
have a great trigger photo for Zareth.
oh, that's awesome. That's great. That will great. Um,
Yeah,
so should we do Shin?
I guess. And then all the other things.
Yeah?
Man, this
I mean, we're
feels
still not gonna talk about Ship Arena, right?
no.
I feel like that's one we have slowly tried to kill off over the past year.
I mean, my Shiverina has been trying to kill me over the past year. So I kind of thought about like doing some like final fleet arena climbs just to climb back into like the top and then park myself there. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow as like my
And then like
final kiss off and
feels like a lot of work.
is Leviathan never getting to 7 star. You're gonna have to wait to see my roster tomorrow. uh I can't confirm or deny if my Leviathan is 7 star. Okay. Let's look at Shin. I have not looked at this yet. I have her. I did the gamble pack so I could get the shards every day because I figured why not. You know what? I was like,
You had the crystals to burn, I guess. Yeah.
I had crystals to burn, and then I was like, well, what if I regret my decision? Like, I should get like a leg up for when I come back and I'm struggle lessing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so do you want to read it? Do you want me to read it? What do you want to do?
You tell me. This is your thing. I'm just along for the ride today.
Oh man, I don't even know. I'm gonna read it. If
Okay.
you're okay with that.
Yep, go for it.
I'm gonna yell at Dr. Alan Grant hitting me in arena.
I was going to tell you should read it, but also I don't want you to get like halfway through like I need you to take over reading this at this point. So
That might happen.
yeah. But by the way, secret kit reveal.
Yeah.
Shin actually has a daughter, and her name is Sarah in the kit. They call it out.
They do not. Are you fucking with me?
Yeah, I got Meathead to put it in the kit for you.
Stop. I will just say, if Meathead wants to go on H&N after I've quit, I'm gonna be personally offended.
We get an email from next week. Hey, do you guys have time to fit me out into your next episode? Like, dude, clearly you don't listen to the show.
Be like, sorry, Jasper.
Yeah.
One more final episode. It's the encore episode.
Yeah. This time we don't care.
Yeah. This time we don't. That's the title.
Yeah.
I know. I'm number 22 in Fleet Arena. It's pretty pathetic right now. Okay. So Shin is an attacker, a mercenary, an unaligned force user. I don't think any of this is surprising.
No?
Obviously from the Ahsoka show and all this great stuff. Okay. So she's needed at Relic 7 for Balin. That I don't think surprises anybody.
No. I think all the other ones are needed at 7, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Correct. Okay, we're going to skip all of this. Skip all this. Okay, so basic. Fierce Foray. Looks like a fine animation.
Can I ask a question on this as I'm looking at it? Is her lightsaber orange or is it just like a light red?
It looks orange to me. But isn't it
But
supposed to be red?
I think it was orange in the show or like reddish orange. Like I don't think it was full red.
I don't remember. I need to watch the show again.
I fell asleep last week trying to rewatch the first episode. So I was trying to look and then I was out cold.
Oh. Okay. Deal physical damage to target enemy and inflict critical chance down for 1 turn. If Shin has 10 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune. That's that mercenary thing, right? Soldier of Fortune. She inflicts critical chance down on all enemies for 1 turn. During Shin's turn, call target other mercenary ally to assist. If the target enemy was stunned, deal 10% more damage per stack of Soldier of Fortune on Shin, max 100%. But so she doesn't have a stun, so you would theoretically call
Correct.
somebody with a stun on their basic.
Yes.
And we are being corrected. It is orange in the show.
It is orange in the show. Okay.
Colors are hard.
When you get old, it's hard to see things at distance or up close or really anywhere.
Don't gotta tell me twice. Squinting at the screen at work. Special one, I've eyes on them. Cooldown of 4. Also, animation looks fine, I suppose.
Yep.
Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict them with offense down and vulnerable for 2 turns on all enemies. Guys, come on. Can we please proofread? Shin gains 10% crit avoidance, stacking max 50% for the rest of the encounter. Whenever each of these debuffs are resisted, all mercenary allies gain 30% protection up for 2 turns. If Shin has 10 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, she gains 25% turn meter and increase the cooldowns of all enemies. She increases the cooldowns of all enemies by 1. FYI, not increase. Proofreading.
And they said that if there's 5 enemies and they resist all of the debuffs, you would immediately go to 50%. So each debuff is counted uniquely, and then they'll stack up all on a single turn. You'll get up to 50%, and then it'll cap at 50%, is what it said in the notes from that side. So,
for the rest of the encounter.
For the rest of the encounter. So it's very possible, especially against, I don't know, like a high tenacity Jedi team.
Yeah.
That you get the advantage of that like right off the bat.
Dang. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, special 2, we'll take it from here, which is a cooldown of 3. This one, the first one's 4? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry. Bingo card with proofreading being the center square. Absolutely. Deal physical damage to target enemy and stun them for 1 turn. Shin gains critical damage up and riposte for 2 turns. If Shin has 15 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, attack again, always scoring a critical hit if able, and decreases... okay. And decrease the cooldown of Clean Escape by 1. Yeah. Proofreading. Okay. If target enemy is inflicted with Purge... okay. Shin inflicts buff immunity on them for 2 turns and deals 10% bonus damage for each stack of Purge they have. Does she have Purge in her kit, or are we stealing an Inquisitor?
They have said that, is it Marok or Merrick?
I have no idea. I think it's Marok.
I think it's Marok too, but I thought I heard Zara say Merrick the other day. He will be an Inquisitor.
Oh, okay.
So he is they said in the somewhere in this that he will be tagged as an Inquisitor, so Purge will be part of his kit, but as a character he was a former Inquisitor.
I did not realize that. Was that known? Or is that
think it was. He may have shown up in the Tales from the Dark Side, the Barris episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like he was one of the Inquisitors there with her. I don't think that was easy to connect, but yeah, it's been in actual content that's what he was.
Got it. That was a good episode.
Yeah.
Okay. Unique 1, you have no power, which is a Zeta and an Omicron. At the start of each encounter, Shin gains 25% accuracy and 50% offense until the end of the encounter, and she ignores taunt effects during her turn. Whenever Shin is critically hit, she gains retribution for 2 turns and 150 speed for 1 turn. But doesn't she get a bunch of crit avoidance somewhere else in the kit?
She does.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first time Shin gains 10 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, she gains the granted ability Clean Escape for the rest of the battle. If Soldier of Fortune stacks are below 10, Clean Escape ability can't be used. The clean escape ability can't be used. Thank you. While in territory wars, territory war Omicron, gross. And all allies are mercenary or non-galactic legend unaligned force user. At the start of encounter, Jesus Christ.
The start of the encounter.
Shin gains 75% accuracy and 30 speed. All allies gain 50% max health and max protection until the first time Shin is defeated. And all light side enemies are immune to cooldown reduction for 2 turns or until the first time Shin is defeated. While enemies are inflicted with Purge, they have minus 50% crit damage and minus 30 speed. Whenever enemies attack 3 times out of turn, Shin gains 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune. Whenever Shin gains riposte and has 15 or more stacks of Soldier of Fortune, the cooldown of Clean Escape is decreased by 3. Whenever a light side enemy gains damage immunity, they are inflicted with Fear for 1 turn, which can't be resisted, and Shin gains a bonus turn. Additionally, Clean Escape has these effects based on the number of Shin Hati stacks of Soldier of Fortune. 20 plus stacks, all mercenary allies are revived whole. 35 plus stacks, Shin increases the cooldowns of light side target enemy to their max value. Okay.
And by the way, they did your boy BB-8 dirty with that because the example they gave was it would increase it all the way to 70 if she gets there.
That is mean.
It is.
Soldier of Fortune. So this is the second unique. At the start of battle, Shin gains 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune per relic amplifier level she has until the end of the battle. Whenever Shin... So you basically just want to go relic 9.
Yeah.
Whenever Shin scores a critical hit or attacks out of turn, she gains 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune. Whenever Shin is critically hit, she loses 1 stack of Soldier of Fortune. At the start of each mercenary ally's turn, they gain 5% crit chance and critical damage, stacking for each stack of Soldier of Fortune they have until the start of their next turn. Okay. Pretty good.
And that unique to the Soldier of Fortune one, that's ranked up like mercenary contracts. So there's only 3 levels and it's only goes up to...
I noticed that when I was upgrading her. Because I figured, why not spend my stuff?
Why not? I mean, get it out there. I am convinced that we're going to see that ability added to other mercenaries as touch-ups on the kids.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that would not surprise me. I mean, I feel like that would make sense.
Yeah. And it's really simple to add to them as well, so it shouldn't. Right. As long as it doesn't break certain characters, which I think there's a chance, but.
Okay, so the granted ability is Clean Escape, which is a cooldown of 8. Does she like this? Interesting. Sorry, I was watching her animation. Yep. Okay. Effects are based on the number of Shin stacks of Soldier of Fortune. So 10 plus stacks, she dispels all her debuffs and gains 30% max health until the end of the encounter. All non-tank allies stealth for 2 turns. 20 plus stacks, she dispels buffs on the target enemy. She gains critical hit immunity and health steal up for 2 turns and inflicts defense down on all enemies for 2 turns. I assume these stack, by the way.
Yes, they do. They continue to stack, and I don't think she consumes them.
I don't know. 35 plus stacks, all mercenary allies gain foresight and offense up for 2 turns. Shin removes 100% turn meter and dazes all enemies for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. That's pretty cool. Yep. Okay, so that's it. It doesn't say she consumes them, so I would assume that they would stay, and then like your cooldown just goes back up.
Yeah. And then she also has in her kit, and I forget what it is. I think it's something around, it's if she critical hits, she gives stacks to any of the other mercenaries in the group as well. So there's ways that they're gonna build up their stacks coming from having more mercenaries on the team as opposed to having to do all of it on their own or something similar to that.
Right. Which obviously, like, if they put this mercenary stuff in those other kits, um, that'll be relevant
Yeah.
and important.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So she can. Well, Pokey was right. She can lose stacks if she's critically hit, but she
Yep.
gets
Yeah.
all that crit avoidance.
Yeah. She can lose it as a penalty, but it's not like it's not a build and purge
Yeah.
mechanic where you have to, should I wait to get to 35 or should I blow it at 20? It'll be yeah.
Yeah. If you have it, use it, kind of thing. Maybe.
And Dar, if you get to 1,000 stacks, instant red crate in Conquest.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, so that's the kit. I mean, I'm not like wowed. It's interesting.
yeah,
The stacks and getting a granted ability are always fun. Um, I'm curious how she'll work with Balin and what like the optimal team would be.
yeah. I think this is a bit like the bounty hunters are a fun team to play because of all of their. I think the mercenaries are going to be very similar to that. It's really hard to look at a mercenary character when it's the only one and no one interacts with
Yeah.
that buff from that side.
And like the thing with the bounty hunters that's fun is depending on what you're doing, that kind of like configures your team
Yeah,
for you. Like who do you
yeah,
want for the leader? Who like how do you want to get the contract as quickly as possible?
yeah,
I feel like you could see that like carry over to mercenaries pretty
yeah.
easily. Um,
You did make I think the important point, and I was complaining about this and not complaining, like pseudo complaining about it, but I have been impressed with how CG is making Relic 9 relevant
yeah.
on specific characters over the past, 6 to 9 months. Like this is, again, it's another case of we're going to tie something to a relic level that makes it worthwhile getting to that point.
Hmm.
Because it really looks like one turn and she'll be at 10 stacks. And you get stealth, the tank's going to taunt, and she gets 30% max health. Like that's a nice little buff on really turn two, probably worst case scenario type thing.
Yeah, and you want her around as long as possible to keep building
Yes.
the stacks and then
Yep.
do the ability again if possible.
Yeah.
Um, that's fun. That's my last
Yeah.
marquee.
Trust me, we'll have to eventually do like a very special episode when we get BB9 or something like that. So uh
Somebody better tell me if BB8, like if there's like a new BB, like if BB9E comes in,
yeah.
BB8, man.
Jasper, I'm sorry, but mom's got to go away for a month.
Yeah. See you in a little bit. Uh yeah. I gotta be kept in the loop for that. Um yeah. Do you have any other
So,
thoughts on her?
I don't. It's well, my immediate thought is I decided to accelerate the last day so could get her into GAC shape so I could use her.
Oh.
And then I forgot to put mods on her.
Oh.
So yeah, that was a fun waste of crystals to sit there and not do anything. So
I think I
uh,
joined GAC this week.
yeah, so I have a Relic 9 Shin and Hattie without mods that I'm sure at least one person in my flight will look and be like, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So yeah.
Molpoke is gonna come blare the Star Wars theme song outside my window on a boombox when GL BB8 comes to the game.
Only if he's wearing high tops and a trench coat. That has to happen as well. So more
Ah.
than just high tops and a trench coat. Let's not be weird about it. All right.
Ah. Oh man. Um okay, so that's Shin. That's the kit read. That's the only news.
That's the only news. I mean, it kind of pales in comparison to the news.
uh so I don't know what we want to do now. Uh I thought this special was you streaming 3v3. No. Um, I think I saw like 3v3 is. I'm back in Kyber 5, guys. Uh, I really don't care. Um, okay, so that's no moon. I think we've discussed
I think we have.
that's no
I mean,
moon.
actually, I would like to take the next 10 minutes to talk about the current state of datacrons within Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and bypass everything that we talked about in the first one. No, just
Um, I don't even know who has a Datacron. Like in this, like that's how much I was like, I'm just gonna quit. Like
you're so checked out.
I was like, I don't even know. I I don't even know if I think I rolled Datacrons. Did I roll? I don't even know. I think I have an. Does Eth Koth have one? I feel like I have an
He
Eth
does.
Koth
He
Datacron.
does.
Okay, I have an Eth Koth one.
Look, I saw that Heath Croft has a datacron, and I immediately thought maybe it's time to quit the game. Like maybe I've gone a little bit too far to the rabbit hole that this is a reality. So
Oh, um, uh, Jasper is on his way down, folks. Just so that you are ready. Sorry,
yes,
I just got the iMessage. Um, I was like, I got the Eth Koth Datacron, and then I went, oh, I can use it.
this is broken. I don't know if I like this anymore.
I can use my Eth Koth Datacron. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah.
Because of that stupid raid with that stupid Luminara team. I can't believe I have a Relic 7 Eth Koth.
Look, the raid
And
is
Kitfish, so
wonderful and had nothing to do with you deciding that this game is stupid and I don't want to do stupid things anymore.
nothing at
Um,
all. Hello, my little pumpkin. Do you want to say hi? Hi, sweetie. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely past bedtime.
yes, see, that's what I remember is him grabbing the microphone foam because that's the fun
Yeah.
part of what we do. So,
Yeah. Are you gonna wave and say hi? Oh,
hi.
sorry, we gotta sit up a little. Can you wave again?
Can we
Do
wave?
waving. Can you do waving? Good job. Are you gonna show everybody maybe where your tongue is, or are we just too distracted by mommy's computer and microphone?
Yeah, that's I don't know what that is, but I want it all the time.
Yeah. That like intense face is his like I need everything. He's been doing that since he was like I don't even know how old. 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah, well, he's like, yes, this is all mine. It's only a matter of time before you realize it's all mine, and I take all of that. So,
Exactly. Yeah, we haven't cut his hair yet. I don't want to. Oof.
that is a complete mom thing.
I don't want to cut it. And he has like these
Yeah,
cute little curls at the back.
it's called a mullet. Like, and every baby has it. This is not me making fun of your child. This is me making fun of everyone's child. I made fun of mine as well. So, yeah.
Come here, buddy. Yeah. Okay. You say goodbye to the stream for the last
Bye,
time.
buddy.
Say bye. Good job.
He's like, who is that weirdo waving at me?
You gonna go to bed? Maybe change your diaper. I think you did a poo. Okay, leave mommy's microphone thing. Thank you. Okay, goodbye. Bye, buddy. And now we're sad. We're leaving.
Yeah.
Figures that would happen. Oh yeah, we were talking about Eth Koth.
Yeah, yeah. Eth Koth, who I think would lose in a fight to Jasper.
Probably. He's got a mean arm on him. I think he's going to be a baseball pitcher.
Yeah.
Because that kid can throw a ball.
Yeah. Good for him. Is he lefty? Is he a lefty?
No, I'm surprised. We thought he was going to be a lefty for a really long time, and then all of a sudden he just started using his right hand for
You know how you
everything.
fix that, right?
Just like tie his left hand.
You tape his right hand to his chest, and then he will learn to use the left hand because babies are resilient.
Are you a lefty?
I am.
Uh, my sister-in-law
And
is a lefty, and she was
yeah,
really excited when she thought he was going to be a lefty
yeah.
too.
In all my free time, now that we're not doing this, maybe I'll start writing a parenting book. Um,
Tape his free hand to his chest. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, East Coast Datacron.
yeah. Uh, Look, we're gonna have to go into. We're gonna have to. Do we want to talk about a negative?
I mean,
I mean,
do
do
we
we want to talk about the bantha in the room?
is sh- do you have a bantha?
I don't. I mean, I said at the beginning, as far as I'm concerned, this is not negative. When awesome things happen to people, they might impact you in a way you don't want it to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't make it negative. This is a net positive on that side.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it. I it's weird to me. It's weird when you've been doing something
Yeah,
for years, every day for years. And then also like on top of that, when you are like interacting in a community for years and making content in a community for years.
yeah.
And I feel like I'm breaking up with literally thousands of people at one time. This is like, this is, Agnards will understand this. This is like an extreme episode of The Bachelorette. And I'm just not giving a whole bunch of people roses right now.
So, in all seriousness, I was running through like, oh, I could do this, and then I was like, oh, like could be weird, and I could like not weird, but like I could like try to do the low part of end of the road, and then I started thinking of the words, and I'm like, nope, not appropriate. 100% not like, yes, we've reached the end of the road. All of the other pieces, like it sounds like Pico's had a weird obsession about Sarah for way too long if I do that. So nope, we're crossing that off the list. We're next, next.
Uh, uh, that does not work here.
Nope, it doesn't.
Uh,
Yeah, it's just like no, no one really ever sings this first line of the second part of that chorus, and that's inappropriate. Nope, we need to move on.
Fair. Valid. um, I don't even know where I can fit this in. Like, do we just go, which is what she said. Do, do we go into
So look, I would like to do, and again, this is now super weird because of what I just said, and now I'm going to say this because I would like to go. I love you, I know, but despite folks, this is how much we planned this show that I just walked myself into a door. All right.
which is hilarious because we literally said I was like maybe we should just like take some time to plan, and then like this morning I woke up and I was like shit.
Oh, we got to do an episode today, don't we?
It's like it's Wednesday. Uh, uh, um, maybe we do this, and I love you. I know in the positive. Um, I was feeling really like nostalgic about our first episode, and you weren't even the co-host technically at that point. You were just. I was so. Can I just say, man, this is gonna. I'm gonna be so weird. Um, I was so nervous to ask you to do that episode with me. I was like, he's gonna say no. He's gonna be like, this chick's fucking weird. Like, hard pass. I was terrified. And I was also terrified of like stepping on the other Sean's toes. Not that like you belonged to him,
Yeah,
but you were
yeah,
on Galactic War
yeah,
Report all of the time. That I was like, oh, like, is this gonna get weird? And now, like, obviously it's not. And obviously I've also been approached from other people to be like, hey, do you want to come
yeah,
on? And I'm like, oh, that's just like a thing that I didn't.
yeah. It is. Yeah.
But I was so scared. And then we had like, it was just the easiest 2-hour episode of Territory Battle chat.
You know, it is funny because I was actually thinking that this through this same thing this week, and I think that people would be frustrated and annoyed how effortless this is for you. And frankly, how much it is between the two of us from that standpoint. We literally spent like traded maybe 6 messages about what we wanted to talk about, and then spent 2.5 hours talking about Mon Mothma territory battle teams.
Yeah.
And I just what I've always appreciated about what we do on this. Um, and again, I don't know what it was like when it was Faye and when it was Sergi. I just know because I never was with either one of them on the show, but I just know we literally 15 minutes before it's like, hey, I want to talk about A, B, C, and D. Great, here's the plan. We show up, we put some really generic notes in a page, and then we spend 2 hours having a conversation. And it's just like it I would love to tell people like, no, like this is really hard. We spend hours prepping this and get ready for it, and it's not. It is this is as natural of a conversation as I have ever had with anyone
Yeah.
from that point. Um, and I just remember walking out of that, and I want to I keep pushing this off because I have some things to say about this. I remember walking out of my office, and because we did it on like a Saturday or a Sunday morning, it
Yeah.
was like earlier on a weekend, and I walked out, and my wife like, how was it? And I'm like, it was like great, like it was a lot of fun, and just uh, as I was listening to the show, and you could tell that Sergi was getting a little he was getting to his point that it was time for him to move on as well. And I think I pinged you one day and just said like, hey, if you're ever looking for a replacement, and again,
Hmm.
did not like this was painful for me to do because I was afraid of the answer being no. I'm like, if you're looking for someone, I would love to take that spot. And you're like, actually it's happening, and was going to reach out to you about it. And I just how happy I was
Hmm.
for that, and just how much I've enjoyed this and looked forward to this for what I think has been about 2 years. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, like we keep these show notes, but we don't have a historical version of all the
I
show notes.
know. I realized that after the fact, and I was like, oh, I should have kept like a historical version of it,
Yeah.
and I
But then you got to file, save
yeah,
as, and it's just so annoying. And let's be honest, that's extra work we just don't do on this show.
we just
Um,
wing it.
we just wing it. And it's again, as a media member, like I know being compared to Bill O'Reilly is not a great thing, but screw it, we'll do it live on air. Like that whole mentality, it's just kind of what we've done for 2 years, and it has worked. And it is amazes me that people still tune in.
That's like the biggest thing for me. Like and this was what really sold it for me as well when I was trying to figure out like, can I make it work? Can I make playing the game work? Do I go to another guild? Like, what do I do? And I got to the point with just getting into the game became a chore
Yeah.
because of how crazy things were getting. And literally the only thing keeping me logging in was the community and doing H&N and doing crate. Like
Yeah.
that. And I was like, there's nothing in the game keeping me logging in right now. It's everything outside of the game. Which to me, I was like, then it's not the game. Like it is the game, but it's not the game. You know what I mean? Like I was like,
Yeah.
the only thing keeping me tied to this is the people that I play it with.
So I want to float an idea.
Okay.
What are your thoughts about a zero preparation true crime podcast?
This is actually really funny because so I told Trav that I had floated the idea to Trav that I was gonna quit, and he was like, oh, like maybe just like hang on for a little bit and like see.
Yeah.
And then I told him, I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm gonna quit. And he was sad for me. He wasn't like, he 100%
Yeah.
has supported this, but he was sad, and he was like, I like that you have this like cool little hobby that you do, and it's like your own little time. And he regularly since so it's been 2 weeks since I told him that I was going to do it for sure. And almost every day he's been like, you should still do something with the guys. Like, you should still do something.
Yeah.
Make sure you still do something. So that is actually a really funny
Yeah.
suggestion.
but, but my wife today, she's like, so what are your thoughts about you and I doing a podcast? And I'm like, the world doesn't need another bunch of mid 40 white people doing podcasts. Like that's the reality of where we're at. But and that would end up being a Star Wars true crime podcast. Like we would be inventing murders that happen in the Star Wars universe and then solving it. And it's just way too sad and pathetic for that to go out over the air at all. So
And mercenaries going out.
yeah. Look, if you want to find a reason to get together every 2 weeks and just, shoot the shit on a topic and see if we can get some of these amazing people to sit there and listen, you tell me. We don't even need to come up with it. We'll come up with the topic live on air. Just like, all right, we're
Shuffle a
go,
deck.
yeah. Ask ChatGPT what should we talk about today and see what it comes back
Oh,
with, and
God.
then make fun of that. So,
There's a dangerous game there.
yes.
Oh. Okay. Are we on I Love You, I Know? Did we decide?
Yes. Yeah. Um, so I'm going first.
Okay.
All right. And I'm folks strapping and because I'm gonna talk for a little bit. Uh, so a couple weeks ago, I was at our sales conference, and I was asked to come up and talk about how I've gone about building my career in my company, and I have an interesting story around it. But one of the things that I talked about in that is um, identifying things that are important to you, like in a job. Like, I want to travel, I don't want to travel. I want to be a people leader, I don't want to lead people leader. And I went through this thing, and I talk about in this context, like, find these things, and we very much presented them as like it's a this or a that, it's a this or a that. And I kind of what we pulled into is, what I wanted were like these 5 or 6 things in a job, and I realized that that job doesn't exist. Like this is kind of the talk track around it. And one of the things that's important to me is I like, and for folks that I'm in a technical sales role, but I spend a lot of time in front of customers. And like for me, that's what I need. It's like it's what drives me. And where this is going is um, in 2020 there was this weird global pandemic that happened. And when you're kind of a hot gas bag that doesn't directly talk to customers, you kind of cover other people that do that. No one wanted to talk to me anymore. And I was like you mentioned earlier, you're in a
Mhm.
bad place. And I actually took people through this as part of this presentation, like in front of like 250 of my coworkers. I actually used this piece of the story that I lost my ability to talk to people. It wasn't part of what I did. And I realized how much I needed that as part of my job. And talk about being in a bad place. Like when you wake up one day and realize like one of the things that not only do you do well, but you need to feel energized was taken away from you. Like it hit me really hard. Like I literally felt like I was never leaving my office. And because none of us were.
Mhm.
And then I got this chance to come on a podcast and talk to you for 2 hours. And
Oh,
sorry, this is
fuck.
really hard. Um, and I realized like this is what I need in life. And it's funny, it was something I'd done for the last 10 years of my life. And then it took that conversation to be like, oh no, I need this.
Mhm.
And as my industry came back through this shit, which by the way, my friends at my coworkers told me like, dude, you got to stop talking about COVID. It's just it's going to be stories for everything in
It
life.
is.
Um, this was this is never. I hate to say this. I love everyone who listens to the show. Um, Selfishly, this has been more about what I needed in life than what I think I gave to other people.
Right.
I needed an opportunity to talk to someone and engage with people and do that. And I so needed it. And I didn't realize, and it just, I want to thank you for putting me in this chair. I want to thank again. I am still amazed. I think we're about 1,000 downloads a week or an episode.
Yeah.
I am. If you have ever downloaded this show and listened to me, thank you. Uh, like seriously, thank you. Um, you will. Anyone who has ever listened to me for an hour, even if you think I'm the biggest fucking idiot in the world, I don't. I don't think you know what that means to me. I can't describe it, which is crazy because I have about 1,000 words to describe the fact that I can't describe something. But I said it earlier, Sarah. I wish every conversation in life I had was as easy as what we do on a weekly basis. Uh, and despite some of the tough times we've had the community or some of the arguments that we've had, and again,
Mm-hmm.
everyone kind of being very passionate about this. I want to say thank you to everyone who continues to come to Discord and I don't want to say engage with us because I feel like I'm way too much of a content creator there, and I don't like that term. But I want to thank you all for watching us, for listening. Um, but more importantly, Sarah, just thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to do something that I didn't know was so important to me until I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you.
Oh man. Um.
By the way, you want to know what intimidating is telling 250 of your coworkers not only like this is what I want to do in life, and then having most of them look like you're an idiot, and then say, and by the way, I figured this out by hosting a Star Wars podcast. That is how you actually like make an impression on a room, right?
um. Uh, I had something that I was gonna say in regards to everything you just said, and now it's like it's gone. It was in my brain. It's back. Um, I think we have. I mean, you said this, and I have to reiterate it because I was so nervous to do our first episode. I was terrified. I was like, he knows TB. Like, I have to be on my game. I got to be on it. And it was the same. Like, I left and I was like, that was really good. Like, that was a good
Yeah.
conversation. And then I was like, because I am a millennial, I was like, did I? Maybe that was just me. Like, was that just me that thought it was really good? Like, and had a little bit of anxiety there. But it's always been so easy. And I think the thing that I love, and I didn't realize how much I loved it until it happened, was there. I can't even remember what it was. It was the first time that you and I were going to disagree. And I remember you messaged me, you're like, I'm going to disagree with you today, just so you know. We're going to disagree on the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this is going to happen. And I hate conflict, which is hilarious because I am a short-fused, hot-headed person, which may not come across in this, but man, do I fly off the handle. And so when you were like, I'm going to disagree with you, I was like, oh, fuck.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Well,
and
this is going to be our last episode.
It was so easy to disagree with you.
Yeah.
I never felt stupid. I never felt disrespected. And that was huge. Like, especially, man, I hate to play this card, but I'm going to play this card. When I started working in my industry, I was 21. I was platinum blonde, believe it or not. This like tiny 5'4" platinum blonde 21-year-old girl walking into broadcast control rooms full of mid 50-year-old white men who had been doing this for decades.
Yeah.
And I'm coming in still in school, haven't even graduated. And not only am I coming in and starting to work with them, I'm also coming in and telling them what to do.
Yeah.
And when I got a ton of pushback, I still get a ton of pushback, but a ton of pushback and just really stupid remarks sent my way. So to know that I was able to have a conversation and voice an opinion
Yeah.
without having it being thrown back in my face was really refreshing, which is a sad thing, but also like a thing.
Yeah.
And it just made it so much easier. And it made continuing to do the show while I was on, like, we did what, one episode where I wasn't here?
Yeah.
Two episodes maybe? And, like, it was just so easy to come back and keep going. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that, like, I held on so long for the community, but also for you and Zareth, because I did not want to disappoint you guys. Also a little bit for Danimal, because I feel like I just divorced him. And I was thinking about it when I did like a little like post in our guild Discord chat, and I realized that I have been in a few guilds. I played this game for 8 years and I spent 6 years in ODB.
Yeah.
Like, that is insane. I don't think I could ever go to another guild.
No.
As crazy as they made me sometimes, I don't think I could ever go to another guild. It was them or bust. And it made it very hard to decide. I was in ODB longer than I've been with Travis. Like, that is
it's amazing when you start looking at that's how you measure time with things.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, I have no words. I mean, there really is no community like this one. There's the odd, I will say, I got like a couple of odd messages here and there. Not even messages, just like comments that I was like, you're a fucking dick. But everybody else has been amazing.
Speaking of, I'm going to ask the question very vaguely.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in chat and you're aware of this, please weigh in.
Oh no.
Do I lift the ban?
Oh. Do I weigh in? I'm not going to weigh
Oh,
in.
absolutely.
I don't know.
It's still your look. At the end of the day, it's your Discord. Again, the rest of us are just renting space over there. So,
Bane, you have a kid with Travis, but ODB is getting left behind. I mean, I'm still on the server.
Yeah.
I realized, I was like, I'm gonna have
so is Bane for that matter.
I'm gonna have to remove my own roles and stuff. I'm not gonna weigh in. I'm sure people know my thoughts on the matter. My hot-headed short fuse.
Yeah. Look, I think again, I don't know what, like, this is one of these cases of how do you wrap these conversations up?
Yeah.
It's massively difficult. It's, man, saying it's an end of an era seems really kind of fart smelly.
It does.
But I'll be honest, my farts smell great. That's what it is. So that's the truth.
I mean,
you know,
in the words of the great Taylor Swift, it was the end of an era and the start of an age.
All right, actually, can we take a Taylor Swift right turn because we have to on the show?
Yes, as always.
My daughter went to see her first concert
You tell me it
of
was Taylor Swift.
no, it was
Okay.
Walmart Taylor Swift.
What is Walmart Taylor Swift?
So take a guess who might be Walmart Taylor Swift right now.
What's her name? With the ponytail.
I don't know. I just know her name, and
Jojo
she's got blonde
Siwa?
hair. Oh, not JoJo. I wish it was JoJo. She actually saw JoJo Siwa when she was a kid.
Okay.
No, she saw Sabrina Carpenter this week, and I kept referring to her as the Walmart Taylor Swift. She's like, "Why do you call her that?" I'm
Oh.
like, "Because the tickets were like 25% of Taylor Swift's
Didn't
tickets."
she open for Taylor Swift forever
She
ago?
might have. I don't. Again, the fact that I know her name is a
Hmm.
big step up above most of those. But my wife summarized the concert by too much perfume and weed. That was just what her
Really?
take. We just legalized it in Ohio, so of course everyone was using it
Oh,
from that
yeah.
side. But yeah,
Yeah.
um, but I think she's moving on. I think my daughter is moving on from Taylor.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Well,
I'm like rocking my friendship bracelet and everything.
so I found a friendship bracelet in the back of my car that one of her friends left in there the other day. But I think that she is currently searching for her generation's Taylor Swift.
That's valid because I feel like Taylor Swift is my generation's Taylor
Yes,
Swift.
yes. But yeah. So that happened this week. I don't know what that means. I just figured we should talk about Taylor Swift a little bit as well because I know there was a subset of our listener base who was like, "Oh, I didn't know I was going to listen to people talk about their kids and Taylor Swift." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're going to."
Yeah.
Because again, we don't have a script.
We just do it live. Um, okay. Do you have other things? I'm
I
gonna let you
don't.
steer it. I
I don't. Look, this just seems like talking about the game is silly at this point.
I'm
Um,
not even playing.
I,
Okay. I haven't done my dailies and I don't even know. I stopped doing them once I left the guild. I was like, I don't have to do my dailies.
yeah, I mean, like this is we've now entered like let's see how long we can get people to sit and listen to us talk about anything except for the reason why they came to come listen to us talk.
um, I realized that there was no Discord. I don't think there's a Discord corner this episode.
So there was actually one great question, and
Okay.
again I think this summarizes a couple of very actually I do want to say a couple of things.
Okay.
Ramius, I hope you decided to listen to one last episode because he stepped away from the game this
He
week, and
did.
I did not take the opportunity to respond to him the way they did, and it's another thing. Um, I greatly appreciated playing with you and some of the conversations that he and I have had over the past couple of years of being here. Again, it was a phenomenal member of the community and kind of stepped away. And I think that it was interesting. I asked him, "Was the raid what finally drove you away?"
Hmm.
And he said, "No, it's actually what kept me around." And I was kind of surprised by that.
He loves the raids.
Yeah. Uh, what I also want to what I want to say, and again, two specific people on the HNN server of both Dar and Molpokey,
Hmm.
the last set of questions that came in um, were great, and it was Dar asking, "How the hell do they break a button that has worked for years? I know this is a stupid question." To which Molpokey broke the cardinal rule of the Discord corner section and answered the question. It said, I don't know, but this is probably the wrong channel to talk about it unless that's your question. And it was, well, maybe it is. So I don't know how to answer that question.
Hmm.
And then also Bane, again, as always, late to the show, 010, least favorite episode ever, or I think it's I hate it already. That was his review of this
I
episode.
hate
So
it
yeah.
already. Ah, man. I mean, valid.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, I feel like I should have properly prepared instead of like winging things.
Stay on brand.
I know.
Stay on brand. You don't want people to accuse us going corporate.
selling out.
Yeah.
Um, I have been so grateful that everybody has been so kind and so supportive when I started doing H&N. When I started doing H&N, I offered to help on like the back end side of like, here, I can like edit the audio and like whatever, like I don't need to be involved. Um, and then I don't know how Faye got me involved, but I got involved. I think I actually wasn't on like the first 2 episodes or something. And I got involved and I was there every week, every other week, whatever it was we were recording. I don't even remember. It was years ago. It was 2018. Holy shit. When we started recording H&N, and I went on vacation. I don't know, 2 months into H&N. And I vividly remember people on the H&N Discord server being like, why wasn't Sarah on this episode? And I was like, I did not know that you actually wanted me on the episodes. Yeah. And it just kind of snowballed. And then, obviously, like you came on, which has been fantastic. I don't think I could have asked for a better co-host, for an easier co-host.
I appreciate that.
I genuinely feel like every time we sit down, I'm having a conversation with one of my friends.
Yes.
It never feels weird. I'm never like, oh, I have to filter myself. I never have felt like that. I felt like 100% myself with you, which is so validating. And then, YouTube started and I was terrified to do YouTube. I went into, man, I feel like if people don't know this by now, they'll be surprised when I say this. I have a journalism degree. So I went to journalism school, and I went to school to be a newspaper writer, believe it or not. Stupid Sarah, come on. And I finished my first semester, absolutely hated it, wanted to drop out, which was hilarious because I had worked at newspapers before going to school, and had been published and had tons of great feedback, and hated the aspect of not being able to be a colorful writer. Molpo.
Oh, it's so good.
Anyway, so, but I decided not to drop out because I couldn't transfer my credits. I felt like it was going to be a waste of money. I felt like I was going to disappoint my parents, which, like, typical first generation Canadian of immigrant parents, and also first generation to like finish high school and go to university and all this stuff. So I was like, I can't drop out. I can't switch majors. I got to just finish this. Started taking TV classes. Absolutely loved TV. Hated being on camera. As soon as I was on camera, I went beet red. I had no idea what I wanted to say. I hated it so much that my professors would pull me aside and say, you need to be on camera next week to pass the class. Like, to do the bare minimum and pass this class. And here we are. So, I mean, to do the YouTube side was terrifying. I remember when Sir George's first offered that we would stream H&N on his channel. I was like, oh,
that's
people will see me.
Yeah.
And the community, I can't say enough good things. Everyone was so supportive when I started, so supportive when I went to YouTube, so supportive when Jasper was born. Like, I was terrified when I came back with Jasper and like would have him with me. I was so nervous that I was going to get shamed for having him with me. And everyone was so accepting. Sorry. Um, and I think it just says a lot that this community is so good to each other, as frustrating as the game can be sometimes, and as frustrated as we can also get with each other. Um, everybody is so kind-hearted at the end of the day.
It it has always struck me that what becomes interesting around these types of communities where um, we all have stupid made up pretend names
Yeah.
and we all end up becoming people.
Hmm.
You know, it is there is a certain anonymity. There's actually one member of the community that we live within about 40 miles of each other. Um, and there's a very good chance that we have walked past each other at a Home Depot before
Hmm.
and wouldn't know it, but he is a person to me. And I think that's important to point out that it has become more than just, again, random nerds playing a Star Wars game on the internet.
Yeah.
Uh, we never got big, and I think it's better that we didn't because we all became a thing that way.
Um, I mean, I got home from the hospital when Jasper was born, and I had flowers from people that play this game
That's
at
awesome.
my house. And I mean, you have been a part of this, but you and others have sent Jasper gifts. Um, it's 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 something that I never
Yeah.
ever expected from a mobile game.
Yep.
Um, so it is unbelievably touching. And it makes it all the more difficult to decide to stop.
So your journalism comment, do you know why I picked the name of the episode that I did tonight?
Uh, May the Force be with you always,
Yes,
because it's a Star Wars
it
line.
is. But because it's so grammatically awesome.
It is.
Because the phrase is not "May the Force be with you always." It's "May the Force be with you always."
Mm-hmm.
That comma is so massively relevant to that statement,
Mm-hmm.
and so much of this show has been about, again, three times tonight, the
The,
we
mm-hmm.
could use a comma here, and it is it again, it was a running gag on the
It
show.
was.
One,
Oh,
because I
I
also just know
didn't
how much
print
it drives
the
me nuts.
kit. Sorry.
But it's this whole thing of again, like, back to, and I know your thoughts on these things, but uh, if if that statement in the movie is said without the comma,
Yeah,
"May the force be with you always," it doesn't hit the same as "May the force be with you
always.
always." That pause means everything in the world. Meathead, if you've listened this far, you've missed the chance to come on the show, but also this is why we talk about punctuation. All right. That's really what I'm trying to drive. And
Mm-hmm.
when I was looking for names and I saw that one, actually it was, I thought that's how it was written in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I went and found it. I'm like, no, this is perfect for other reasons on that side. But yeah. That's really nothing about anything. You are a grammar Nazi. And I think that's one of the few accurate, I think that's one of the few ways that we can all agree is okay to call someone a Nazi. All right.
I know I drove many people in ODP crazy for like I wasn't even involved. I was that person, not even involved in the conversation, and just replying, be like, "You apostrophe re."
Yeah.
Like, but with the little like asterisks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
um, yeah. Uh, I'm not even going to apologize that I am who
no,
I am.
exactly.
Um, so yeah. Uh, uh, I don't even know what else to say.
So we could go to Uncle Owen's Moisture Farm,
Yeah.
or we could wrap it up.
I mean, do we do it? Do we go to
Let's do
Uncle
it.
Owen's Moisture Farm
Let's do it.
one last time?
Uh, and last but not least, let's take our final trip to Uncle Owen's Moisture Farm to talk about who and what we are currently farming in the game, because everyone knows that work comes before going to Tashi Station to pick up power converters.
Hmm.
Sarah, what are you farming this week?
Um, before I stop playing. um, uh, what's her name? Morgan Elsbeth, who I have not finished. Night Trooper, who I have not finished. Um, and now, I mean, I'm gonna actually get to go to bed and sleep. And, maybe not sleep through my alarm and wake up in a panic because I turned it off in my sleep and
Yeah.
and have to run out the door in the morning because that definitely happened to me last week. Um yeah. I It feels weird not to farm anything, can I just say?
I can imagine.
But also
Um,
like I actually have had to restrain myself because I keep like grabbing my phone at 12:06
yeah.
like to get my bonus energy. I'm like, I don't have to do this anymore.
So on that point, I started a conversation in our guild thread in our guild today
Hmm.
that essentially could be summed up by it's actually more cost effective to lose in GAC and buy the crystals than it is to spend the time to win at GAC.
I believe that.
And I just kind of hung the idea out there and then let everyone else come up with the math on their own. And it's just like, oh, if I'm doing this on the own, I'm paying myself $4 an hour to play GAC. Like that's just not worth my like no, it's not. So um less time, less farming. That's the mantra on that side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, not your concern anymore. Like I'm gonna keep farming what I farm,
Hmm.
and that's the I don't have anything to add there. Relics, I guess, is the answer. Um,
It's always relics.
I am. Here's what I'm going to farm. I'm going to continue to farm uh, the folks that are part of this community in Discord, and I am going to do everything I possibly can to make sure that we keep that running as a place that people can come and get answers, that people can come and get conversation, people can come and get um, what they need,
Hmm.
be it Galaxy of Heroes or whatever from that side. I think the ask is, you know, folks, when we don't have awesome Sarah videos to point to bring people to the channel, we're gonna have to go on some good old recruiting binges to get folks over there. But we're still going to be around from that perspective. Uh, then again, I guess we got to get cracking on what our next podcast idea is. We've got to hit that.
I'm not
We
opposed
need
to
an
this idea, by the way.
we need to get an idea that gets the HelloFresh money up front. Like we can't get 100
Okay.
episodes in and hoping that they're listening.
Okay. Molpoki, give us the money now.
Yeah, just give us the money now, okay?
um,
Look,
yeah.
yeah, look. We're will if you own a car wash and need us to advertise the car wash, we'll start there. All right.
Yeah.
If
We can work our way
you
up
know,
to HelloFresh.
Jay's Wax and Shine, we're happy to start there. All right.
Uh,
Um, We'll even do a podcast on car washing. I don't know. You tell us.
Is it better to go through the automated one?
Yeah.
Does the
Yeah.
no touch really not touch?
Yeah. Yeah. We're open to ideas. We just need to make sure that they don't involve a lot of research. You know,
Right.
I'm listening to one right now about Henry VIII, and they're quoting Shakespeare, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. The part I don't like about this story is where they figured out how to get Henry VIII. Okay.
And they're quoting Shakespeare.
Yes. Yeah.
That's like a lot of prep work,
It is. Yeah.
and we don't really subscribe to that.
No, no, not at all. It
Uh,
just doesn't work.
um. Okay. Are there any other? I don't even know how we do that. I feel like I'm delaying the inevitable.
Well, when we talked about how we wanted to do this today,
Mhm.
and I was adamant. I was going to argue. This was going to be a case I was going to argue with you. It's your show. You get to close.
Do we have anything else that we want to say?
I can stay here all night.
This is why we need another podcast going.
Exactly.
I feel like I've said it 5 million times, but I'm going to say it again. I am so, so, so grateful to everybody. So grateful to you. I'm so grateful to Zara. So grateful to ODB and the fact that I basically told the officers who to recruit. I am really glad to see ODB doing so well. I know there was I was worried for a little bit when I decided that I was going to retire that it could. That sounds really egotistical. But I was worried. And I'm glad that nothing really fell out and it's fine. I didn't go anywhere else. And I think that maybe would have been the problem. But I think going out into the abyss was the right call.
I'll be honest. I was a little offended that I was not on the list of people that they looked at for an officer. Like,
You've
all
been an
right,
officer.
I mean, I didn't want to do it, but I didn't get the cursor like, hey man, you have the highest GP. You sure you don't want to do this? But no, they just chose not to ask me. They seem to ask some joking Canadian and some very other smart people from that side. Kind of garbage.
I mean, in their defense, they weren't asked; they were told, and that they were
Fair enough,
sent
fair enough.
the
Yeah,
K2SO
yeah.
gift of please do not resist.
Okay. Yeah. Don't worry, I'll be subtweeting them for the next year, and everyone's going to try and figure out why. So that'll be a thing.
Ah. Uh, uh, sorry, I'm just looking at Luke. Do I have any hopes or aspirations for ODB as a guild? I mean, I think ODB as a guild, I'm biased. I know I'm biased. I was there for 6 years. I think ODB as a guild is the best top end guild to be in if you want balance
Yes.
in your life. I mean, you get, especially with territory war rewards being what they are, but you get good TB rewards. Territory war is territory war. The raid is maxed, and like that's where you're going to be able to invest in your roster. And
Yeah.
we're not, crazy demanding. Nobody demands that you whale. Nobody demands that you spend money. The people.
In fact,
are
I think they
good.
normally make fun of me when I spend money, which is again puts it in perspective. So
Like the people are good. I think I just don't. I think I would be sad if I saw ODB become like a really crazy dictatorship type of guild, and I don't think it ever would. So I would say like my hope is that it doesn't do that, if that makes sense. I hope it
Dan knows you know
stays.
his phone number. Like that's the like
I will
you're
go
the
to
threat.
Dan's house. Okay. I'll I will come and knock on that damn door. um and Dan can't turn OD. I helped Dan cheat at trivia, okay?
The truth comes out.
uh um I think it's just such a good guild. ODB is gonna be good. I have no worries about them. I don't know what else to say. I'm just so sad. I knew I was gonna cry. I didn't think I would spend the whole episode crying. Dan, you and Trav can use the spare bedroom. Perfect. How far of a... We're thinking about going to a football game. We're gonna drive over the border. Okay, sorry, I'm getting off topic. I guess that's it.
Think that's it
For the last time. Okay, I know I said this at the beginning, but we are planning to do a final crate episode as well, so nobody be mad and thinking that I'm snubbing Zareth, because that's not the case. And then that will be it. It'll be done. And everyone can see what my Leviathan looks like.
I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, so as a side note, before I sign off, I thought about going to Buffalo to a Bills game, but Bills fans scare me.
Yes.
So, also as a side note, so we do like a pro pool pick'em at work that I'm in, aptly named the Klutz because I walk into things. And so the idea is you buy in, you get $1,000 of play money, and then you have to bet on the Vegas spreads of the games. I would just like you all to know, I am in first place of the pro pool.
Nice.
I have peaked. And I feel pretty damn good about myself right now. Aside, like, from this moment.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
in
Look,
that.
I feel bad, but I'm winning, suckers.
I am winning. So now the pressure is on. And as I said earlier, I am a addictive personality type of person, and I'm either all in or not. So, you know, Trav and my coworkers have all been like, okay, Sarah, so now you gotta just bet the minimum and you're just gonna coast. You're gonna play with house money. And I'm like, how about
Look, I was gonna lose 1,000 pretend money anyway, so why don't I just see if I can how much of that 1,000 pretend money I can make go other places?
Yeah, like what if I just bet a whole bunch on this one game? Anyway. Sorry to get distracted. It popped in. Anyway. Okay, I'm actually gonna do it. I'm gonna stop stalling. I'm sorry. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to say other than I really have loved doing this for 6 years. Holy shit, 6 years. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining us this week, the final week. That ought to do it. And until next time, Chewy, we're home.
Recording stopped.
I've stopped the recording.
We're out.
I'm going to stop the stream. Thank you, everybody, for watching the stream.
Thank you, everyone.
And I'll be around.